The price of Bitcoin down. Why? What is happening? What is happening to the cryptocurrency markets? No, Bitcoin's just down a little bit. Your altcoin bags. It's a new definition of pain and suffering. I know. I've got some of those same bags. In this video, I want to talk about what the heck is going on in the market, why the market is spooking so much right now, and some very interesting news because I think you need this perspective. You need to hear this. I know that these regular shakeouts in the market are so frustrating. Another rejection of 72K, right? But look, big things are afoot. We have more evidence that China might be coming back in a very big way to crypto, some perspective on the Ethereum ETF, and much, much more. So let's just have a drink of this small cup of coffee here. It's so small. And talk about our crypto coins. And I want to start off with this because just for the lulz, you know, the S&P 500 hit a new all-time high 2 days ago. Again. Again. Bitcoin just can't catch a break. We keep rejected at 72K. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 out here hitting another new all-time high, selling off slightly on the day today. However, this reminds me of previous market cycles where, for example, in 2019, 2020, we saw the S&P 500, except for, of course, the COVID sell-off. But up until that point, we saw in 2019 and into early 2020, the S&P 500 hit multiple new highs. Well, Bitcoin just stagnated. Interesting how it works like that sometimes. Really, the markets can sometimes be very highly correlated and other times not so much. It really depends on the attitudes of the market. Right now, Bitcoin has come down to a very, very key level after another savage rejection at 72K. Have you figured it out yet? Every time I get rejected at 72K, 1, savage rejection, 2, savage rejection, 3, savage rejection, 4, semi-savage-ish. I mean, it wasn't that bad. Another semi-savage rejection. Now, it's interesting, very interesting here. Let's just move some lines around. Currently, we are retesting the 50-day EMA. That is the yellow line here on the chart. We'll see what the price does, of course, over the course of the rest of the day. But right now, just retesting that 50-day EMA. Normal. Nothing crazy, nothing to worry about. It's all good. That doesn't bother me in the least bit. It's fine. We could even come down, retest the 100. Fine. What you don't want to do, you don't want to lose the 200. That's where, you know, shit starts to hit the fan. And yeah, that's under 56K right now. If we go under there, oh boy, that's a conversation for another day. We're not anywhere near there at the moment. We are just retesting, of course, the support from the 23rd of May, the support from the 31st of May. This was, of course, previous price resistance right in the zone as well, establishing it as, again, an interesting area of price support, again, at the 50-day EMA. So where we're currently sitting, I'm not too worried. If, of course, by the time you watch this video, we have a giant nuke further down, well, we can discuss that tomorrow. But right now, not too shaken personally. Byzantine General saying someone on Coinbase is slamming it. You don't just casually push the market sell button when you're dumping tens of millions or hundreds of millions of Bitcoin. No, you slam that bad boy. You break your keyboard, throw it out the window, walk away, and never come back again. He said it's not business hours yet. Burger hours, not business hours yet. So you can't buy. It can't be the ETFs doing this. It's whales doing it, of course. Dan pointing out that yesterday's ETF flows finally broke the streak. We had 19 days of straight inflows, billions of dollars of straight inflows into Bitcoin ETF products, including last week, nearly $2 billion for net inflows into Bitcoin ETF products. We have $64 million in outflows yesterday. Time for panic. It's all over. $2 billion last week, subtract $64 million. We still have about $2 billion. But hey, you know what? Screw that. It's going to zero. That's the way the market feels sometimes. Highly reactionary, highly emotional markets. It's crazy sometimes. Why is everyone freaking out? Well, we have the inflation data coming in tomorrow. We have the Fed making a decision tomorrow if we're going to see an increase, decrease, or staying of the same of interest rates. Everybody's watching the macro scene. What is Jerome Powell going to do? And we will tell stories to our grandkids about the time when we used to all sit around waiting for Jerome Powell to come out and tell us what the money was going to do. Central banking. What a joke. Anyway, inflation currently forecast to stay the same. Now, in terms of inflation specifically, if we see inflation coming in very hot, so it comes in at 3.6% or something like that, expect further correction potential in the market. If it comes in at 3.4% or lower than expected, 3.3, 3.2, that should be good for the market. So that's something to keep in mind. In terms of the interest rate decision, I mean, look, interest rates, they're coming. The only question is when. We even have now political pressure being piled on. Joe McCann here saying, I tried telling you the rates are coming. This is a letter from Senators Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren. Anyway, they said this in the letter. Said, we write today to urge the Federal Reserve to cut the federal funds rate from its current 2-decade high of 5.5%. The sustained period of high interest rates is already slowing the economy, and is failing to address the remaining key drivers of inflation. Furthermore, the European Central Bank, which like the Fed, has a mandate to steer inflation towards a target of 2%, cut interest rates for the first time in 5 years. It's time for the Fed to do the same. Major central banks have cut rates or are leaning towards lowering rates. The ECB cut its interest rates on Thursday from 4% to 3.75%. On Wednesday, the Bank of Canada cut rates, becoming the first from the group of 7 nations to do so. Sweden, Switzerland, Hungary, Czech Republic, and others have already cut rates. I think New Zealand might have cut rates recently. I think. Anyway, other countries have. The Fed's decision to keep interest rates high continues to widen the rate gap between Europe and the US, as the lower interest rates could push the dollar higher, tightening financial conditions. And of course, the longer they keep those rates high, they have $10 trillion in debt rolling over this year. If they don't cut rates soon, they have to refinance all that debt at this wildly higher interest rate, which means the interest rate repayments are going to be so crushing for America. They have to cut. They can't wait much longer. Now, the silver lining here is if a cut comes, it's actually a positive thing, because we don't have a cut happening in a recession. When cuts happen outside of recessionary conditions, it has historically been bullish for markets. So there's that to think about. If a cut happens in recession, it usually leads to a much further sell-off in markets. But when cuts happen in a non-recessionary environment, right now the market economy is stagnating a little bit, slowing down a little bit, has not hit a recession yet. If the rate cuts come before the recession, then you have a situation where suddenly companies can borrow money for cheaper, more liquidity comes into the market, things start to recover. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to be fine. However, they have a ticking time bomb here with these rate cuts. Don't do it soon enough, everything falls to pieces. Do it too quickly, too aggressively, it's also potentially problematic for the market. But they need to start cutting soon, and the Fed knows this. And so we're all waiting to see what Jerome's going to say tomorrow. Ali pointing out here that, by the way, Bitcoin loves to rebound after Fed meetings. Will tomorrow be an exception to that? Hard to say, but he's got them lined out here. 25% bump up after the January meeting. March meeting, we saw 18% up. May meeting, we saw 15% up. Are we going to see a similar bump up post-Fed meeting this time? We'll update you tomorrow, let you know. Now, quick word about our altcoins. I know, guys, I'm here too. I've seen the pain. I've seen the suffering. My bags are down massively too. We're all in it together. It's a good time. Absolute devastation across altcoin land right now, but it won't be like that forever. And I know there's exceptional altcoins. You know, we have Brett and Benji go on massive rallies this week, those base meme coins. That was fantastic. Nice to see. Holding up my portfolio single-handedly right now. Other coins are down dramatically. A lot of gaming coins that I've got into are struggling, let's say. Other things like alternative layer 1 Nibiru chain. Cool blockchain. Man, they've been down a lot since they've come into the market. So this is what's going on right now. We are seeing a lot of liquidity flowing towards Bitcoin and Ethereum, understandably. And we are seeing a lot of money going to altcoins, particularly meme coins right now, but a lot of other altcoin narratives are struggling. But we don't have this massive retail participation in the market right now. It's a lot of player versus player games between people who are already in the markets and playing the meme coin games, who can get in and out the quickest and shuffle money around from one person to another. And yeah, there's new people coming every day, which is exciting. However, Right now, we don't have that big mania going on in crypto. I mean, the prices reflect that, obviously. When we do see that mania phase come back, all the altcoins get marked up big time. But, in terms of my altcoin positions, I'm still holding most of my stuff, right? I've taken some small amounts of profits on some things like Nibiru Chain, for example. Whenever I got my allocation of that one, just an example, I took out my initial allocation, took a tiny bit of profit, like 10K or something, and then I've just been riding that bag down the whole time. Other things I'm just riding, like my Brett bags, my Jupiter bags, my Benji bags, my Aerodrome bags. Like, I'm just not worried about the volatility. In my mind, the Solana thesis, the base thesis, it just seems so strong to me. I don't really care about the short-term volatility. Check back on me in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, and I've either cashed out for millions or it's all gone to zero and we have to roll the dice again next time. I don't know, but that's crypto, man, and it's a price that I'm willing to pay because I know we all love the upside volatility, but if you can't stomach the downside volatility, then this game may not be for you. Just keeping it real, guys. Hey, real quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is Polkadot. Guys, Polkadot super well primed for the real world asset trend that is coming up big time right now. Real world assets are gaining big traction in the blockchain space with players like BlackRock, of course, coming in. This could hit $10 trillion on chain by 2030 as blockchain proves more efficient for moving transaction and verifying physical assets. We're going to see everything coming on real estate worth quadrillions, precious metals, gold, silver, all that stuff can come on chain. Commodities can come on chain. Artworks can come on chain. Intellectual property, patents, come on. All this stuff, a variety of fiat currencies. I know we have a lot of US dollar coins right now, which is a real world asset on chain, by the way. Commodities, trading oil, trading gas, all this kind of stuff, stocks and bonds. We're already seeing bonds. All this stuff starting to happen on chain. Now, why is blockchain so well suited for this? Well, traditional markets for these assets are illiquid and opaque. Totally crap for a lot of this stuff. Okay, you have no idea what's going on. Liquidity is terrible, especially for some of these more, let's say, exotic assets like artworks, for example. Precious metals markets are pretty liquid, right? But some other things, not so much. Not so much, right? Polkadot positions itself in a great position to dominate the real world asset marketplace due to their security, their stability, and of course, RWAs are from traditional markets and they're less influenced by those blockchain biases, thus seeking reliable, secure, scalable, affordable platforms. So they're not necessarily going to want to go to Solana, for example, where, we have centralization, perhaps more of an issue compared to some other blockchains. They're not seeking the lowest possible fees. They're willing to pay 10 cents or 50 cents or a couple dollars for a fee. They don't need sub-cent fees in order to trade $10 worth of degenerate meme coins. They're bringing $10 million in bonds on chain. They're willing to pay for security, right? Because it's still way cheaper and way more efficient than using the clearing houses, which only operate Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. This is going to bring real world assets online 24/7. And with BlackRock in the game, I think it becomes hard to ignore the potential of this asset class. If you want to know some of the big movers and shakers right now in the Polkadot ecosystem that you should go and check out and follow, not a recommendation to buy any of this stuff, right, guys? This is just, if you want to learn more about the RWA space in the Polkadot world, these are the projects to go and check out. Centrifuge. You can check out Energy Web. You can check out Artisanal. You can check out Excavate. You can see all their Twitter handles here. Fiken. Great name, Fiken. Don't be fiking around out there. Agro Token as well. So go check these guys out. See what they're doing. See how they're shaking up the RWA space in the crypto world, particularly in the Polkadot ecosystem. Thanks again to the Polkadot team for sponsoring today's conversation. Now, I know, first half of the video, doom and gloom. And if you made it this far, congratulations, because I've got some big news for you. And this is, again, everything we talk about here on the channel. When you start to put all the pieces together, and that's what I'm focused on. I'm focused on the big picture, day-to-day volatility. I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But that's me as an investor. Maybe it was really important to you. Maybe you're over leveraged and you're overexposed to absolute dog shit coins. I get it. I get it. We've been there. Okay, everyone's been there. Everyone's done that. But big picture stuff, where's the market going? Bitcoin, Ethereum, remember, are 60 to 70% on any given day of the entirety of the cryptocurrency market. And here we have China. China slowly coming back. Interesting things are happening in China. We're going to do a full video breakdown on this for you next few days, maybe next week or something. But very big things are happening because last week we got this news that Bybit is going to start allowing Chinese nationals to register on the platform again, which is a huge turnaround and massive potential for liquidity injection, obviously. But then you have the biggest bank in the world, the $6.2 trillion industrial commercial bank of China. Very boring name, by the way. Anyway, they have written notes to investors about Bitcoins over the last few months. Highlights including Bitcoin has unique cross-border transfers and payment functions. Bitcoin will benefit from the end of the USD rate cycle and debt crisis in marginal countries. Bitcoin retains the scarcity similar to gold through mathematical consensus while solving this problem of being difficult to divide, difficult to identify authenticity, and inconvenient to carry. Literally, the biggest bank in China, biggest bank in the world, out here saying Bitcoin's better than gold. Are you hearing this? Are you hearing this? It's absolutely crazy. It's happening, guys. It's happening. You have to understand these big banks in China, they're not saying this stuff without some kind of blessing from the powers that be. Watch what's happening, not what they say. Watch what they're doing. Always. By the way, I know it's quite funny for me, and I don't know if you feel the same about it, but think about what the price is doing right now. Think about where the markets are right now, and it's like everybody forgot that, was it 2 weeks ago, we got spot Ethereum ETFs approved. Now, they haven't been approved for listing yet, but they have been approved to be able to be offered into the markets. Now we just have to finalize these S-1 applications, which it's just a procedural thing. And then what? Then we have Ethereum ETFs. Then you have 70% of the entire cryptocurrency market represented by Bitcoin and Ethereum will now have spot access to US markets, Chinese markets. Remember, China's going to get all this stuff too. I know people, oh, it's just Hong Kong. It's just one city. It's not that big of a deal. Dude, there's this thing called Stock Connect. Stock Connect connects the exchanges in Hong Kong, Shenzhen, which is in mainland China, and Shanghai, which is, of course, in mainland China. So these products are coming. It's only a matter of when, not if, when. And if you're fading all this, if you can't put the big picture together, if you can't stomach the volatility, then I don't know what to tell you, because big things are happening in this market and big things are coming to the market. Hey, by the way, real quick note as well, before we finish up this conversation, guys, if you were farming the ZKsync airdrop with me, I don't know how many videos we made on this, how many times we mentioned it in the newsletter, how many times we have spoon-fed you the information. So if you did not get the ZKsync airdrop, you have no one to blame but yourself, okay? Because we put the information out there so many times. But I really hope that you did. I really hope that you did. Anyway, the claim is live now. Go and find their official page on X and check there, or you can go to claim.zknation.io. Okay. And it's just a checker now. The claim's not open, but you can take your address, paste it in here, and see if you're eligible for the airdrop. But if you've been doing the things we've been talking about in the newsletter, if you've been doing the things we've been talking about here on the channel, talking about on X for literally like the last year or something like that, then you're probably going to be eligible for at least something, potentially a lot. So I hope that you did get some coins from this airdrop, because, hey, free money, great, isn't it? Yes, it is. And I hope that you got some of it from this airdrop. Guys, thank you so much for watching today's stream. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.